Hello, everybody. Daniel here. Sorry. I watched this sermon. I admit I missed my I totally the brothers called Dutch. And that was my fault. I figured I'd do what those people do. Yeah, I'm not gonna say compare. I a sermon on YouTube, and it was so pivotal. Pivotal. It was from Francis Chan. It was, I guess, the conference in the Philippines called Truth Matters, and it's the title was called "Get Over Yourself." For me, well, and that was the point. We love talking a lot about ourselves. We take a selfie. We we're just so overly concerned with ourselves. We're very concerned with is to deny yourself. It's to yourself to others. He used a bunch of scriptures, the Philippians, um, Galatians, Ephesians, and 10. The thief comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And I said, but I came to give them life in abundance or something like that. Um, but frankly, this isn't about me. This is about, I guess, I want to share just this idea, just this perspective of myself. I used to get into these habits, and I'm still battling it. It's just this idea of just what can satisfy me. And I've had these spouts of cravings and just pursuits of personal gain, personal pleasure, and stuff like that. And it's not like I've flown the coop and done that and did a prodigal son, but it has been it's been an eye opening thing for me. I'm just getting into my word again. Um, Not as much as I should, not as much as I could be, and I admit it. But is definitely a bit of fear, definitely have been insecurity, definitely been selfishness, definitely have been just running away. And I just want to just um, I'm trying to change, want to change, but people say all the stuff all they want, but you have to put in those actions to change. I remember a pastor from an old church of mine. He said, you know, he did an illustration in regards to like taking medicine. He's like, I got medicine. I've taken the prescriptions. People have told me other things about it, but unless I take it myself, it's not going to matter, or I'm not going to be healed. I'm not going to the medicine that was talked about is not going to be responded in my life. It's not going to be active in my life. So, um, one of the things I used to be, I'm I'm at odds with myself, but the same sermon was talking about self help and how he says self help isn't very helpful because um, it's I guess it's coming from a very selfish spirit, I suppose, and that's not his words; these are mine. Um, well, this is me paraphrasing it, but it's just like um, he was saying how, and I've always had this illustration in regards to just the self as in like enter into yourself like a singularity, like a black hole. You just dive deep into yourself, and to me, every time I've been falling into sin, has always been that I've dove deep into myself rather than go out, go out from myself. And he was saying like, part of your happiness is because you are diving into yourself and you're just not satisfied. That's why after you've done that, you find other people and you find other people and keep finding people to just suck them dry. And he just his verbiage is like, you suck. You're sucking from people and sucking from the pasture, and he feels drained, even though you have the wellspring of life. You know, the wellspring of life is continuously bubbling up. It continuously fills you. For me, I'm still mulling over in that. I'm still kind of doing this personal dissection, human, yeah, yeah, metaphysical dissection of myself, and not just going inward, but just inspecting. And I don't even know if that's just synonymous with that. When you just go into yourself and you just be selfish and you base yourself a selfish life, and it makes me wonder. Just because I have this book, I'm a big fan of Jordan B. Peterson, um, but I'm always curious because it has a lot of it has some helpful tips in there, but also it does have a lot of reflective self aid, reflective self help. How you can help yourself. And so one of the things he does say is that I guess like treat someone like you're responsible for. Like he uses a lot of Christian grammar and language, and that's whatever he wants to do. In terms of where his audience is and where he wants to go. I think he's doing helpful stuff, but I don't know in regards to the Christian community if he's actually doing eternally helpful stuff, like things that will continually that will last in the long run. So one of the things he does say, going inward and checking yourself for your answers, because from people, the answers aren't outside, the answers are within. And maybe, but not really. I mean, I say not really, but I say maybe. I always consider the potential of things, but um, you're not your own guru. You're not your own scientist. It takes wisdom from each other for us to learn, especially outside wisdom. And so it's like for us to sit here and say, well, I am my own God. I am my own controller. I control my own fate. There's plenty of things outside your control. There's plenty of things you have to actually have faith in. There's plenty of things that you have to look at and say, um, my expectations are these. It's been tested, but there's always a chance that it'll go wrong. Probability is just a mathematical presupposition. I like to think presupposition about chances, about things that just happen, things that occur, things that have a likeliness of happening, and even then, that's not a certainty. Regardless if there's a certainty, like oh, it could happen. There's always going to be that chance. Like the Murphy's law, anything that could happen, could happen. Uh, well, anything that could happen will happen. Something like that, and that's okay. Like that's okay. you know I think it's okay, even if you and I think even the spirit gives us faith, confidence in certain things, certain aspects. I noticed there was times where I think I've said this before, where I've had confidence and I didn't know where it came from, where sometimes when I was going out evangelizing, there were certain individuals I had confidence in talking to. Now there was also, don't get me wrong, I've had aspects where I personally wanted, in my selfish mind, in my selfish greed, just wanted a special experience. There was also times where I had those experiences of just great overwhelming love, great overwhelming confidence, where I was like, I can do this. I don't know why, I don't know how, but for some reason I feel like I can do this. I feel like I can do, like, it wasn't like just faith in myself. It wasn't like it was mostly just like faith in my ability to handle the situation. And it wasn't like I knew it. It wasn't like I had the physical capabilities. It was just like whatever is here, whatever is before me, I have confidence that I can handle it. Now, again, there was times where I shrunk back into my selfishness because I was wondering, how do I do this? And I was just, it was just a selfish place. And I don't know. I thank God because He's opening my eyes to see it, to see those aspects that need to be better. Like, okay, you know, now it's time to stop being so selfish, and I need to be more loving to my brothers and sisters in Christ. Um, there's definitely been times where I've been hurt, and there's been times where I've just been so self introspective. Excuse me, and or self centered. And I say and or because it could be that, it could be both, it could just be one masking the other, you know. And so it could just be me being so stuck so selfishly in the void of my being. Just, I've been hurt, that's not gonna happen again, or I've been hurt, what do I do, what's gonna make me feel better, how do I get through this, what's comfortable for me, what's gonna do things for me. I talk to somebody, how's it gonna affect me, and that even then there's more selfish aspects to that. It's like just selfishness is very versatile. I'm selfish, even if I seem like I'm doing a good thing. you know um I love it. I love it when people are helped. And so maybe I would have maybe, and this is halfway an example, halfway real, halfway example, because it's like, okay, let's say I like helping people. Perhaps in my selfish mind, I'd be like, I'll do whatever I gotta do. Look, whatever I gotta do to make you be helped in the way I see you are helped. And it's just like, no matter how good it looks, you can't force your will over people, and I've been learning that. Um, but I'm on the other end where it's just complete apathy. Like, I throw my hands up, whatever, man. Do whatever you want to do. I can't control you. But as I'm learning, what was it? Second Timothy chapter 3. I think it was chapter 3. Chapter 3, I think. But he was saying, like, he was telling them to just when they was talking about he was going to be they won't listen to sound doctrine. He was telling them to just do the work of an evangelist, be long suffering in your love and stuff like that. And I say, I don't know. Is that just Timothy? Is that the evangelist? Because he's also talking to Timothy, but he's talking to Timothy as a leader, as a person who has a certain gift. I don't know if that gift is even being clearly explained. I don't know. Maybe somebody knows. Maybe someone can infer a guess, a good guess, an educated guess. Also, for nothing, I wrote this down. Oops, sorry. I wrote this down because I found it very helpful, and I was just like, I have to write this down. And it just I just broke this down, these spiritual gifts, and that's another thing he was talking about. And I just broke it down into my own terms. These aren't all my terms, but these are terms from the Bible and stuff like that. So it's just like the spiritual gifts of First Corinthians 12. There's wise advice, wisdom. I think faith and service, helping others, healing, leadership, miracles, teachers, prophecies, apostles. That are I did a Google search, so I kind of basically found it synonymous with missionaries. Discernment, languages and interpretation. It's the same spirit but different service. So it's just and you can say it's different services, but the gifts is different services. You'll see. And he says, like, when we continue to overly oration, which is again, it's kind of ironic because it's like, don't idolize anybody, but you are allowed to idolize God. But I like to think that God is himself is a great vessel to be idolized. But I don't know if that's the proper term, but they say extreme admiration. That's what idolatry is extreme admiration. And so maybe that's it. And even thinking about that, he was just saying, like, with selfies and stuff like that, it kind of made me a little subconscious of just even having a face view, because I remember back in my other videos, I tried to ignore it because I knew I always get self conscious just viewing my face and seeing, like, is it right? Is everything okay? Excuse me, am I performing well? And, I learned really early on is that, like, um that just putting on a show isn't always a good thing. Putting on a show for other people who want a show from you. And I was always been self conscious of that. Um, but I don't know. I do find not showing your face is a little less distracting. When people have videos and they don't really show their face. They show videos, they show clips, they show silly stuff and editing and all this stuff. And I think that's very helpful. That's things you don't have to be distracted by the person. You can just listen to what they have to say. And it reminds me of A Star Is Born. I just watched that recently, where he says, um, like you have something to say. Speak as if you have something to say, because the spotlight is short. So you have to give it your all, give it deep, dig deep, and then tell them your story, tell them what you want to say, um, because they're listening. And I think that's great. Um, I still have to get to this journey to reevaluate my mind, reevaluate myself, my spirituality, my faith. Um, and boy, do I not like that term spirituality. I think it's too general to describe a spiritual practice. Um, because that's like saying food at a buffet line. Hey, do you want food or do you want food? And it's like, well, I actually like the salad. Oh, you want food, that food. You want this food or that food? And it's just like, that's just way too general. We have particular things, we give labels so we understand things. It's a salad, it's not just food, it's salad, it's burgers, it's pancakes. They're different kinds of food. And again, even with me, I like food. So after those three terms, I was just three words. It got me thinking a little bit, but I've already eaten. Um, but yeah, I don't know. I don't got much else to say. I just hope whoever's listening can just have a greater appreciation. I have a lot of work to do. I really do. I have a lot of work. I have to be more loving to the people of the church I've been to. Be more loving of the brothers that are outside of my church. Be more aware. Be less selfish. Less. I'm sorry. I just had a bit of wine, so I'm like, my words aren't coming out as correctly as I'd want them to be. Um, and yes, I'd rather be a little honest than pretend. I'm a flawed person, but I think you'd see the difference if I was fully invested, fully selfless. At least I like to think so. Fully selfless about following Jesus, and just denying myself and saying, Donnell, this isn't, you're not looking at Donnell, you're looking at a vessel who's merely projecting what's inside of him. That's Christ. And, I don't know what I have I got my own worries to go through, to weed through, and to just say, hey, you know, Jesus is better, Jesus is greater, Jesus is far more important, far more precious than things I'm making more important in my humanity. So I don't really have too much else to say that's really important. Um just know that the sins that you do are typically selfish in its core. Porn, that's selfish. That's instant gratification. That's eye candy. All that stuff. You look at a woman with lust. That's selfish because you're looking at them not just objectively, but you're doing it to please yourself. And based off the standards that you were taught, you believe these women are. You believe particular people are exceptionally beautiful, exceptional in terms of the standard of beauty. Um, and that's not everybody. There's always going to be a contrarian somewhere. But yeah, that I'm just saying. There's a good reason why he says, "Deny yourself, take up your cross, and follow me." Those are very important. And I just hope you find some Christian buddies around you. Get a support group, and then really just start exercising that selflessness, selfless love and faith. And all right, see ya.